Hey, today I want to give you some great ideas on how to get ultra fit without doing all that road work. Stay tuned. Hey, so you want to get super fit? Why don't we go out to the track and we'll run 8 400s with a 3-minute break between each 400. That sounds awesome. Or how about you just go jog for 45 minutes? That sounds like a lot of fun. The truth is none of that is absolutely necessary. In fact, it's brutal on you mentally, okay? And I'm not saying there aren't athletes that do that. I was one of those type of athletes. I was a track athlete. And so some of that track training is very, very boring. But I can promise you that when I was in high school, I didn't realize it then, but our coaches were absolutely ingenious on how they were going to get us fit. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to share some of those concepts that I took with me when I became a sports performance consultant, and I used on tens of thousands of athletes, and they had tons of fun, and at the same time, they were getting ultra fit, okay? Now let me share a story with you. When I was in high school, every day, this is a testament to environment and type of training. Every single day I would get up and I lifted weights first thing in the morning. My first period class every single year was to lift weights. So I lifted weights, and we didn't just go in there and like do some curls for the girls and stuff like that, right? We lifted heavy weights. It was all tracked, and then everyone was up on the board. Amazing environment. Every single night, I either played pickup tennis with my buddies when I was done with my AP homework, or we went up and played pickup basketball. Every night, period, end of story. Like 6-7 days a week, we played pickup basketball. It was the 80s, back when we used to play outside, right? So every single day. Now, I also played 4 sports in high school: football, soccer, tennis, and track. And so every day, lifting, 4 sports, and then pickup after that, all right? So even on top of that, when our coaches wanted to get us fit, they didn't just make us run around the track or go run and do road work. They were super creative, and they kind of used our competitiveness against us to get us unbelievably fit. And what is the outcome of this? Well, here's the outcome. I was a sprinter. I never ran further than 300 yards at any track practice, and I probably only did that like 2 days, because mostly I did tennis practice, and then I would come over. Well, at the end of the year in track, we did the decathlon, and on the second day, I had to go run a mile. I didn't know how to run a mile. I run straight for 100 yards, and then I stop, and that's literally all I do. And so I had built myself up to where I'm gonna be a pretty good sprinter. I was, a 4.4 electronic guy and a sub 11-second sprinter in high school. So pretty good there. I had no idea how to run distance. And so if you were to look at that and you were to say, objectively, you'll say there's no way he's gonna do anything in the mile, especially because I don't even know how to run it. Like, you just go out there and run in a circle 4 times. There you go, that sounds great. Okay, so I go out and run the decathlon after 2 days of being out in the sun, and it's the 10th event, and I run a 4:48. Now, I bet you there aren't a whole lot of soccer players on your team that run a 4:48 mile, and I guarantee you there's not a lot that run under 11 seconds, if there's one, right? In your whole club that runs under 11 seconds in 100 meters. And this is not to brag. This is to tell you that, like, how I was, and I was totally focused on sprinting, as a byproduct of the type of training we were doing, we're also super fit. Like, we got tricked into being super fit. It was, it's like evil. Like, how'd you get us to be fit? And the reason why, and the way they did it is they actually created tons and tons of games and creative ways to get us fit. All right. So let me share some of those with you. The first one is actually what we based our technical training on. And so what they did is they made sure every one of our practices was, and this is for your individual training sessions too, is like every single one of our practices was on the clock. We were always on the clock. Rest periods were on the clock. Technical training was on the clock, all of it. So there wasn't this, oh, we're going to take a minute water break and then it becomes 5 minutes because we're all lollygagging around. It had nothing to do with it. And so what I did is I applied this to the 4x3x1 method. And all that is basically you're going to choose 4 exercises, right? So you choose 4 of your favorite technical exercises that you want to do. You're going to do them for a minute each, and then you're going to rest for a minute, and then you're going to do 3 sets of that, right? So 4 exercises, 1 minute each, and you're going to do 3 sets of that. Okay. Now what you get out of that is you get some amazing technical training. You get a couple of thousand touches just right there. It'll take you about 15 minutes to do that. And your heart rate is going to be up through the roof for 15 minutes straight because you're going to be doing that technical training and changing it up and getting your touch better. But you're also going to be building the aerobic base that's necessary for soccer. Now, The next one is the fitness circuit. So we did this all the time. In high school, we had what was called Camp Cobra, and we did it all the time. And all it was is some coach would go out there and they would make up this crazy obstacle course or whatever. And we had, sandy hills, and we had like the blocking dummies, and then we had did lunges and medicine ball throws and the whole 9 yards. We had to do wheelbarrows and whatever it was, whatever they thought up, it didn't matter, okay? And we called it Camp Cobra. And so you can do this for yourself. And what I recommend is for you to get maybe 3 or 4 fitness circuits that you really like. Work your legs, work your core, work your back, do some stability work on your explosiveness, your jumping, your bounding, some technical skills if you want in there, and write it down. So that way next month when you come back and do it, you're going to be able to replicate the whole thing and try and beat your time. So that's what they would do with us. They would take 3 or 4 of us, we'd make us into a team, and they'd say, go. We have to go through every single station through the circuit for a time. And then a couple minutes later, they'd start the next group, and they'd try and catch us, right? And the winner was the team that had the lowest time, okay? So all these kind of strength circuits, awesome. Now, if you don't want to create a total obstacle course like that, right? That's kind of an obstacle course situation. Then you can just actually say, hey, these are the 5 exercises that I want to do today. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set them up maybe 40 yards apart from each other. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to do the exercise. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to sprint to the next station. And then what I recommend is you do a core exercise, because your heart's going to be going crazy, right? Because you just got done sprinting. So you do a core exercise. And then when your heart rate comes down a little bit, you're going to do that strength exercise, and then boom, sprint out of there and go to the next station. And you wrap around that circuit 3-4 times, and you're going to get an amazing workout, and you're going to be fit. So you're working on your strength profile and you're working on your fitness profile. So 2 different ways to do it. Really cool obstacle course that you can do with your friends and compete with them, or you can just do it as a circuit. And that is all that is strength training and power training with a time element to it. Okay. Now the next one is pickup games with a purpose and then with timing. Okay, so now you got your friends, and normally okay, we're gonna play some pickup basketball, we're gonna play some pickup soccer, whatever the game is that you're playing pickup. And that becomes this long lollygaggy, a lot of just hanging out time, really is what it is, right? So what we do is I would always get all of our athletes and we create 4-minute blocks. So we're going to play for 4 minutes really hard, and we're going to break for 60 seconds. So you can just get a little circuit timer, an interval timer on your phone, and just be like, okay, I've got me and 3 of my buddies. So I got 4 of my buddies. And what we're going to do is these 2 are going to play against these 2, right? For 4 minutes. And you're going to keep track of your score the whole time. So if you 2 score 4 goals, you each get 4 points. And the next time these 2 are going to play these 2, but you keep track of your points. So that way when you score 3 points the next time, you have 4 plus 3. So it's 7. And then finally the 2 outside people play the 2 middle people. And so you play 3 rounds of 4 minutes each with 60 seconds in there. And believe me, the intensity goes absolutely through the roof. And then at the end, you're like, well, the first game we got 4 points, and the second game we got 3 points, and then the next game we got 1 point. So I have 8 total points. And you decide the winner based on that. Okay, so that one adds a lot of intensity and can really up the little pickup games, instead of it just being this long, oh, I'm wandering around and everybody's standing around. That's all nonsense. When you actually put some time on it and you actually make it into a little round robin tournament, awesome way to ramp up the intensity there. Okay. And the next one is simple, silly games that if you can get some of your friends to play, like different kinds of tags, amoeba tag, link tag, freeze tag, all kinds of hop tags, so you can only tag while you're hopping or on one leg. Oh my goodness, talk about an amazing workout. Capture the flag, right? Remember the old game Ghost in the Graveyard? All of those things, if you're playing those things and you actually set time parameters on them, phenomenal games for getting fit. Okay, so it doesn't have to be just going out to the track or going out to the road and running. Any one of those particular ideas, those concepts, you can get super, super fit and literally be laughing the entire time you're doing it, because it's so much fun and your competitive spirit's there. So I hope these kind of spurred you. If you have any of your own favorite games that you actually like to do, like some people are like, oh, I like to run the straights and jog the curves, or run the curves and jog the straights, and all that kind of stuff. All that stuff is great. It's super effective. It's not fun at all. It's literally not fun at all. But if you get creative with what you're doing, you can have a great workout and keep smiling the entire time, and yet your heart is literally pounding through your chest as you're getting super fit. So I hope these ideas will help you take your fitness to the next level. See you soon.